We're going to look at the TC Electronic 2290 dynamic digital delay today, and I want to show you how to create beautiful ambient guitar patches. Let's get to work. All right, let's go ahead and get started with a patch. Here's my dry tone. Yeah, pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and bring the patch in, and then let's talk about it. Yeah, this patch is kind of like a slapback, right? Well, that's where we're going to start, but we're not going to stop there. Let's talk about a few of the controls as we're developing this patch. If we go all the way to the right where it says 34, you'll see an area where we can select and store patches. All right, next to that, on the right-hand side where it says 99, this is going to be your dry-wet mix. It's a little bit different. You press a button for the delay level, and you press a button for the direct level. So we're still on this sound. All right, but let's go ahead and talk about a few other things before we start mangling that patch. We've got the area where it says 67. This is going to be the feedback and filter section. So 67 is from 0 to 99. That is your feedback or repeat level. So obviously the higher, the more repeats. And if you select down from the delay feedback, you can set up a high pass and low pass filter. All right, let's start really playing around with this patch now. In the delay section there where it says 136, that is the delay time in milliseconds. And you can adjust this from virtually no delay all the way up to 10 seconds delay. We'll be looking at that in a few minutes. But I want to make this longer. So I've got two ways I can do this. I can press the delay button there, and then I can adjust the encoder knob, or I can use my learn or tap tempo button to tap in my tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2. That's still really fast. What's going on? I think we need to adjust the subdivision. So let's bring this all the way down to quarter, okay? And again, 1, 2, 1, 2. There we go, 51 now. Pretty close. Let's see what we get. Ah, there we go. A 1 second delay. Beautiful. I want to make this a little faster. So if you hold this down, you can go extra fast. I want to make it about 900 milliseconds or so. Ooh, that's sounding nice. You get a feel for that stereo spread? It's really nice, isn't it? All right, so let's skip over to kind of the heart and soul of this beast, and that is the modulation section. Let me talk about that for just a minute. You can modulate or affect a lot of different things on this pedal. The first thing you can modulate is the panning. So the back and forth, the right and left. You can also modulate the delay itself. And then you can modulate the overall signal. And this is going to be kind of like an envelope, if you will. So let's get to work here and see what we've got going on. There's a little button here that allows me to switch between the different modulation settings, and then there are other buttons to allow me to turn those settings on or off. Right now I'm set up for the delay modulation. So let's get a feel for what that is. So there's a knob called speed. This allows me to adjust the back and forth. There's a depth knob. This allows me to change the depth of the modulation. And now I can assign that modulation to the delay by turning on the mod button in the delay section. Can you hear that? Let me turn it off. Oh, let's make it deep. I forgot about that. Oh yeah. Yeah, we can get pretty out there with it. So we'll turn it on standard modulation. Isn't that a beautiful sounding delay? I really like it. Now let's see what we can do with panning modulation. So I'm going to flip the switch down to pan, and now we can see in the speed, I'm set to 0.5. I want to make that a little faster. Let's go up to 1 hertz. I think it's hertz, right? And then let's see what the depth is. Ooh, the depth is pretty wide. So, okay, let's see what we get here. Now, there is a section here for panning. So if I turn the panning modulation on, I now need to assign the pan to either the delay, the direct signal, or the delay and the direct signal. So let's try the delay first, see what we get. You can hear that panning back and forth, can't you? It's pretty cool. All right, let's go ahead and flip it over to the direct and see what happens to my dry signal. It's been up the center. I hope you're wearing headphones or listening on decent speakers. You won't hear it otherwise. Oh yeah, cool. Now, let's go ahead and assign the pan to both the delay and the direct signal, and you're going to hear them kind of cross back and forth. Yeah, now, I've got a volume pedal on the floor. Let's check that out with some volume swells. Oh yeah, I'm really liking that. But we're not done with modulation yet. We now have the opportunity to modulate our dynamics, right? So we've modulated pitch, now we're going to, and pan, now we're going to modulate dynamics, loud and soft. So let's go ahead and turn that on and see what we get. Yes, that's pretty cool. It's a lot though. So let me go to the speed here. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And let's see what the depth is. 90. Let's bring the depth down a little bit. Make it a little more subtle. I'm liking that. Now there's another button here in the pan and dynamics area. It's called reverse. This reverses how the modulation works. So let's check this out. I'm loving that. So I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to turn the feedback down just a bit so we don't get quite as many repeats. And I'm going to turn the delay down just a little bit so we get more dry than delay. Here we go. We've taken this patch into some pretty good places from where it started, but we also can change the waveform itself. Right now I've got the waveform on sine wave. I can switch it to a random option. And you know it's on random by looking at the little speed light there. You'll see that it's wavering in a non-regular fashion. So let's check this out. You might think we're done with the waveforms, but wait, there's more. There's actually 2 more to be exact. Waveform number 3 is called envelope, and what it does is it affects either the delay, the panning, or the dynamics based on how hard or soft you pick. So I'm still affecting the dynamics, so loud and soft, and I've got the waveform set to envelope, so let's hear what happens. Yeah, it's kind of your classic delay ducking capability. Now, if I set it on reverse, we kind of get the opposite. You hear I'm reversing the effect, so it's kind of dropping out the delay when I stop playing. The 4th and last waveform is called trigger, and this one is kind of interesting. So I've got it set up. Let's hear what we have going on here. We're still affecting the dynamics, so loud and soft. So again, this is a form of ducking. Now you'll notice I'm not on reverse, so let's go ahead and reverse this effect. So kind of cool. So envelope and trigger kind of work in reverse, and with that reverse switch, you can make them work in reverse. But all 4 of those options are subtly different from each other. So as you play around with the threshold and some of the other parameters, you'll find that they're very different in the ways that you can take them. All right, let's look at another patch. We'll kind of use what we've learned and create something that's a little bit better for Frippertronics. So first, we're going to make sure our direct signal is all the way up. We're going to bring down the wet signal, or the delay, down to about 85. And we've got a ton of feedback right now, so I'm going to bring that down to about right here. If you look at the delay section here, you'll see that it's set to 4002, so just about 4 seconds. As I mentioned, you can go up to a 10-second delay. There we go. So let's make it 5 seconds, or 5.3 seconds. And not only that, you can see I've got modulation turned on for the delay itself. Let's see what we have going on here. We've got it set to a sine wave. We've got it set to the delay modulation settings. Our speed is set fairly slow. Let's bring it up. There we go, 1.3 hertz. And we're about middling in terms of the depth. So let's go ahead and see what we have here. Remember, it's a 5-second delay. Yeah, that's going to keep going, right? That's why I turned down the feedback a little bit. But it's a 5-second delay, so now I can get out my EBow and I can start playing a little bit with this. Bring up the feedback just a bit, and I can go ahead and start playing some Frippertronics with the EBow. Here we go. Yeah, that was pretty cool, wasn't it? And don't forget, you can go all the way to 10 seconds. So you really do have a mini phrase looper with this pedal. All right, let's look at one more patch. This one's pretty interesting. Before I break it down, let me just play it so you can hear what's going on. Oh, interesting. Obviously, we have some envelope processing going on here, and it's affecting the pitch of the settings. Interesting. All right, let's break this down a little bit. Here we go. So, direct and delay, almost the same. We've got 73% feedback. We've got a 353.7 millisecond delay. Obviously, you can tap in whatever you want. And I'd like you to note that modulation is turned on. And we haven't talked about this, but inverse is turned on. And that reverses the phase of the delay with the dry signal. First, let's look at the modulation for the delay. Speed, we've got it set to 10, which is pretty fast. And we've got a depth of 0. Actually, I want to bring that depth up just a bit. There we go. Let's see what that did for us. You can now hear the pitch modulating up and down in that very fast reverb, delay, repeat. All right, so now let's check the panning settings for modulation. The pan is set fairly low, so 0.8, but it's a fairly high depth, right? And I've got panning turned on for both the delay and the direct signal. Very nice. And then finally, if we look at the dynamics, we've got that set to the envelope waveform, and we've set the threshold to about 22. So 22 at this point. So I pretty much have to stop playing just about all the way, and I actually turned down the volume pedal, and it's affecting the pitch when I do that. If I don't turn down the volume pedal, you can hear that the pitch doesn't change that much as long as there's a little bit of signal passing through. So, what can we do with this? Well, one thing we can do is add another effect in, and what I want to do is add in the TC Electronic Infinite Sustainer to create a drone. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm just going to create a drone on my 5th string. And let's hear what that sounds like when I pull back on the volume pedal. All right, so that's just going to keep going. Let me go ahead and play. Can you hear as I bring back the volume pedal? And I'm sorry you can't see it, but just trust me, I'm bringing back the volume pedal. You begin to hear the modulation, the envelope modulation kick in terms of affecting the way the delay repeats kind of happen. There we go. I won't even use the volume pedal. I'm just going to do a string stop because you'll be able to hear it better. Yeah, so you can hear how the envelope brings up the level of the delay repeats. Everything is panning and kind of swirly and ooh, yeah. And then if I turn off the infinite sustainer, you could hear that right away, right? The pitch shifted. Now I can play around with the pitch shifting. Well, I could go on and on about this pedal, but hopefully these patch demonstrations give you a feel for just some of the possibilities that you can achieve with this pedal. So I'm curious as to what you think about the pedal. Drop a comment and let me know. And I've got a playlist here of other TC Electronic pedals that I've demoed here on the channel. I hope you'll check them out, and I'll see you over on those videos.